Good evening, welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. I want to share with you organization, mindset of the 1 to 3% of us. The mindset of the 1 to 3% of us. A lot of the times we hear people say that we don't manufacture anything, we don't produce anything in Africa. We are not able to build factories or companies. We don't produce anything that we use. There are a lot of statements and discussions like that, where you even hear that, oh, we have a lot of engineers from all these universities, they do nothing. And we have, all these general discussions and general arguments that we put on ourselves. And usually they put us in a state where it appears we are not people who think, we are not people who are serious, we are not people who can do anything. I want to talk about organization. A lot of the times the difference between us and those that we compare ourselves with is that we seem to compare ourselves with organized institutions. We seem to compare our, for instance, if you hear that they say that, oh, if you pick a Ghanaian contractor, he will do the work and do it anyhow. But if you bring a foreigner, what they don't tell you is that when they are bringing the foreigners, they bring their best. But when they are picking the local person, they pick anybody who is not structured, who is not organized, who doesn't have any institution, who doesn't have any process, who does not have any structure. So organization is the difference. Talent, every one of us has it. But with your talent, you can't get much done if you don't have organization, if you don't structure, if you're not able to build things that can run on themselves without you. Sometimes you have people who are doing business, sometimes you have people who have shops, sometimes you have people who have outlets, and they tell you that I have to be there myself because I don't trust anybody who is working there. You leave it for them and they will destroy it. They will waste it. You travel and you come back and everything is gone bad. What they are trying to do is that without them, nothing works. So they don't trust anybody but themselves. It's a mindset problem. But if you look around, if you look, those who have been able to build anything significant, they focus more of their strength on the ability to build a structure, the ability to organize their processes, their thoughts, the ability to work less with their presence involved than to set out processes that will run without them. So when we are building general argument, we build general argument on just individual strength. We are not able to put our thoughts together to build strength on organization. So for instance, if you start a business, if your business is going to work at all, the business will start as an idea. You will test it. And if it happens to work, the next point of duty will be your ability to build a business structure, to organize the business that can work and employ more people. So if you don't have that kind of mindset, if you don't have that kind of thinking, you get to a point, nothing will work. Because your best strength, all humans, our best strength is not our ability to work alone. Our best strength is to be able to develop a structure, to develop an organization that can work. If you look at strong institutions, strong countries, strong companies that continue to develop and evolve, they have been able to organize themselves. So sometimes when you are telling people that you are going to receive all these things that they pronounce on us, without organization, without proper structure, everything that they are telling you will not come through. Or there's never going to be any development, there's never going to be any growth, there's never going to be any progress without organization. So our duty, our core duty as people who would want to achieve anything, because if you put any group of people together, you will not get more than 3% of them who would want to achieve anything with their lives. Most people will just want to have fun with their lives, enjoy, run through the social script. If you want to be the top 1 to 3% of the world's population, if you go to any society, the people who are who are doing anything significant, they are just about 3%. Sometimes you expect so many people to change. I don't expect so many people to change. If you can get a critical mass of people, just 1 to 3% of any group, to think in terms of structure and organization, that group will develop. So for instance, our country, if you can get 3% of us maximum who are able to build skill, to build structure across board, whether it's our agriculture, whether it's our food, whether it's our waste, whether it's any section of our economy. If you can get people who can think and come up with structure, processes, systems that can run, the rest will follow. And so the best of our talent is not just the raw talent. That's why you can get a musician who sings so much, but then you have a music producer who has a structure to use the talent, tap it on tape or on CD and pass it through, and then that talent blows. That's why you can have a boxer who can never go anywhere until he gets a promoter who has a structure, who has an organization. So without structure, talent does not take anybody anywhere. So you can be the best of an engineer, but without an institution to work within, your talent doesn't go anywhere. That's why you can have a doctor, perfect doctor, but he can only work in one institution. For him to become 1 to 3% of the population, he must then know how to build hospital, how to build a health system. So people, for instance, you cannot build a business without learning how to structure, how to build processes, how to build systems. Unfortunately, our part of the world is not part of our thinking at all. We don't even know it. They don't even tell us. And so we will go through the processes, we win and fail, we win and fail, and we want to do everything all by ourselves. Why? Because we don't know how to organize. We don't know how to structure. It doesn't even occur to us at all. So that's why you're always complaining that when you leave the place, they will steal. And sometimes they make the structure and organization that complex, so that we even become afraid that is that doable, because they try to make it so complicated. It's not that complex. For instance, if you have a business, can you put some ideas down on why you're building that business? What is the vision of the business? Where do you want to go? What is the mission? What is the purpose of the business? Can you put something down? And the people who are with you, can they understand it? Can you train them with that? Do you have something to train them? Even if it's just one sheet with 3 points. And if anybody goes through the organization and that thing is they are set through that training, it becomes some form of a process, of a structure that anybody who goes through the organization gets to know. Then you start to build a culture that can work possibly without you being present. For instance, your finances. Do you have some kind of thing that you monitor every day or every week or every month? If you go through that and you can train somebody to handle that, it becomes some kind of an organized entity. So maybe your sales, the marketing. Do you have something? Do you have some few points that you can easily teach another person to follow? That becomes how you organize. Maybe how you promote the business. How you brand the business. So organization is at the foundation of any growth. It's at the foundation of any growth. So if you want to be 1 to 3% of the people, you must think organization. You must study it. A lot of the times, this is what I believe. A lot of the times, if you, let's say from 10 to 20 years, if you have an idea, you can play with that idea and to see, for instance, a business idea, to see if it will work. So maybe you want to learn how to produce cocoa, or you want to learn how to do poultry farm. You want to learn how to build maybe provision shop, or you want to learn how to sell cars. You are trying an idea. You can have, if you start early, And I think that a lot of the times, the first, let's say you give people 60, 70 years to live, the first quarter or the first one third of your life, you have to have an idea that you're training. You have to build a skill with that. Then when the skill can work and get you somewhere, the next phase of skill that you have to learn is how to build an organization, how to build a system, how to build a structure. And that can also take you the next phase of your life. If you're able to succeed with that, you see that you'll probably be able to create a business, or you'll be able to create an institution that can work without you. Most often than not, most people will only run all their lives with one skill. That is even if they have a skill at all, because majority of us don't even have any skill at all that is able to produce anything. Most people don't have any skill to produce anything that people are ready to pay them for, or that can solve any problem. Most people don't even know that. So let's say you have some. If you have some, you perfect that skill. But the fact that you have a talent, you have a skill, does not mean that you have been able to learn how to structure that skill. Because to build a structure, for instance, to build a business, run a product, is a very complex one. And it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of input. But at least, if it's in your mind that beyond the talent, I must also learn how to structure, how to build an institution. Even if you don't fall through 100% and you get 20% right, you'll be far more ahead of most people. Because in this world, only 1 to 3% of us have been able to build the ability, the skill to organize, to structure anything for it to work. A lot of us, even when they want to go for training, so let's say I'm a cook. Most of them, when they want to go for training, they still want to go and learn how to cook and cook well. So it's only the product that they perfect. But beyond knowing how to cook, can you structure a restaurant? Because learning how to cook fufu or put fufu together is entirely different from learning how to run a restaurant that you sell fufu. Because then when you want to organize fufu, you go for the cassava, the plantain, the meat, you prepare the soup, you pound the fufu, it's ready. If you want to build a restaurant that is selling fufu, that fufu is just one component of the organization. Now you have to learn how to manage people. Now you have to learn how to get people to come and buy that fufu that you have prepared. Now you have to learn how to monitor the finances to see that you are not losing, but you are winning. You have to learn how to train these people to think and to serve the customers well. Now you're going to deal with state institutions. They will come. Maybe FDA will come to your place. They have to have some requirement. Maybe the tax people will come and ask you, is it a registered business? Are you know? Now other people will come and ask you. It goes beyond just having the ability to pound fufu, to be a good cook. Now you must have the ability to structure a business that can sell fufu and possibly win with that business. And most people who know how to cook settle at the cooking stage. That's why they just have to go and look for somebody to employ them. Because for you to set up an entity, then you have to go beyond just the ability to prepare fufu and sell. So most people will just continue. They will just continue the training. They hear another way of preparing this soup, they go there. But they never go through the entities that will help them organize to have a structure to build a business that can, So the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, the difference between big companies and small companies, the difference between, the musician who is on somebody's level is the difference in the ability to structure, organize, build processes and systems that can run and run well. You can look at ShopRite. It's different from the other provision shop on the road. Why? Because of this organization. They understand how to sit somewhere and go through countries and build organizations that can run without them. So Africa's major problem is our ability to organize. That is a major, major problem. We cannot put our heads together to put things together to run and let them run and run well. So you probably have to read about it and learn how to go through the processes, because just knowing how to do something, just even having, let's say I'm a teacher, and they'll know how to teach. But running a school is entirely different from being able to teach. That's why sometimes they say that some politicians, being a politician and becoming a president of a country to transform the country, yeah, it's a whole different thing. Being a doctor and building a hospital from ground up, it's an entirely different thing. Entirely different thing. Most often, that's why we just go and be on the one that has been built and is running, then you become the head of it. But if you ask them, go and build this from ground up, from zero, they have no idea why, because they only have the skill to produce the product, but the skill to create an organization is a problem. They don't know. Because that one consists of a whole lot of, it's like the human, the human structure. The human is a whole complex system, which is made up of a lot of systems. So to build an organization is made up of so many complex entities for it to run. So business is like that. So entrepreneurs, though entrepreneurs who stay at the product stage are not able to build anything beyond themselves. So for instance, with the people that we call self-employed, the difference between them and the other one who has been able to build something that is able to employ a lot of people is that of organization. They are able to organize, and it doesn't come easily at all, especially if you are from a part of the world. You have to go through the processes, and it's tough. It's very tough, and it can take you years for you to learn how to structure, for you to learn how to build a system, how to build processes. It's so complex. It is tough. If anybody tells you that it's easy, they are lying to you. The ability to structure is the difference between the guy who has a lot of talent and the guy who does not have so much talent but is able to build organizations. Most successful businesses don't have the best of product. They just have a very strong structure that can run profitably. So your ability to run profitable institution, your ability to create that institution, you may have to be conscious of it. You may have to know how to build that from zero, and it takes a lot of effort. So if you are a business person, for instance, don't just master the product. Don't just be so much happy with just the product. No, now you have to go and know that there are so many systems and structures that you must know for the business to work. So you have to look at the finances and build that which will suit your institution, or your business. You have to know how to have a system to have the best of team. How do you recruit? What do you look for? How do you train them? How do you condition them? How do you replace them? You must have a system that will make sure that the product is at the market at the speed that it has to be at the market. And if the market is growing, you must have a system to meet the demand. And every one of it, you as a business person must have them. Or the business will not work. You have a system to make sure that the business is packaged and packaged well. The difference between us and the developed nation is packaging. A lot of the times it's packaging. They've been able to tell us that they're developed, and they beam all those things on TV for us to see every day. They have the other one. The Africans, because there's no structure, everybody is able to do anything anyhow, and nobody will control anything. So anybody can bring camera anywhere, shoot anything, and continue to promote us as a very backward, very poor, and people who need help. Why? Because there's no structure. There's no anybody at all can come and pick a camera, and nobody will question them anything. Why? Because there's no structure. The moment we start to structure, we'll be able to tell our story well. You structure. You come to Ghana, you cannot just shoot anything. You must pay this before you go here. If you do that, then you start to develop. So when they are talking about development, we are not ready. The moment we start to structure our police institutions, that any non-individual can just make any decision on their own. The moment you structure our laws, you can't just take anything and just give any judgment. The moment you structure our education, you structure our business people, you structure the taxes, people cannot just charge you anything and keep the rest. The moment you structure all those systems run, there's equity, there's fairness, then there will be development. There's no country that has developed without organization. And there's no business person who has built any successful business without structure in place, without being able to organize. And when you organize, you are predictable. We can predict the growth of the business. because a lot of things are being monitored. The data is there. You ask them the sales for the last 10 years, they can pull the sales and tell you. You ask them what happened this day, they can do. And then because of that, you can project into the future because you're organized, because you're structured, because you have processes in place, because you have institutions working. So the one with ability to structure will always employ the one with talent. Will always employ the one with talent. So as an entrepreneur, your best ability is not just to produce a product. You're just a product person. Most people are just product people. They have the camera, they shoot nice pictures. That's all. But they don't know how to build a business around it. They can produce this and produce it well. But they don't know how to handle the finances. They don't know how to train a team. They don't know how to build a market. So the ability to structure, the mindset of the first 1 to 3% of the world population. Okay, so look at your mates, it's the same. Look at any group of people, only it's no more than 3%. The rest just work with their talent. Those who are able to move to the top are those who are structured, organized. They're able to build processes and systems. They're able to build processes and systems. Any successful entity that you see, you know that they have processes in place. They have structures in place. That's why they succeed. They have structure for the finances. They have structure for everything that you're doing. That's why they succeed. They even have structure for themselves. They train. They know, okay, from now to December, every month, this is the book I'm reading. They know it. This is the money I'm saving. They have something that is controlling their choices and their decisions. That's why they are successful. So they are not going by just feeling. They have things that are guiding them, restraining them, controlling them. And that's how performance is. But if you go anywhere, somebody fools, the chiefs will come and beg for them, and they are not ready for development. You are working with somebody, they are fooling, and you want to punish them because that is what is in your structure. And then they will come and beg for them, and you leave it. The business will never grow. So those who succeed are people who are able to organize a lot of it. And the best use of the human mind is the ability to create these things, to organize, to build tools that can bring growth. So thank you very much for watching. So organize is the mindset of the top 1 to 3%. The rest of the people will just feed the factory. Those who are able to organize to build the factory, they control the rest of the people. Those who are able to build control the rest of the people. So, and that one is not in the classroom. That's why you have to learn them, because the classroom they will only teach you only a little bit. The rest you must go and sit down and learn them in bits and pieces. That's why you cannot compare us to say that you're an engineer and you're not producing anything, because for you to produce a car, you need an organization. Don't just produce a car. For you to produce a plane, you need a proper organization to control people towards a certain course. For you to produce a laptop, you need a lot of the ability to control a whole system. For you to produce whatever that you see that they are producing in quantity, in mass, or they're producing a lot of them. There's an organization that is producing that. It's not just one individual somewhere. So if you cannot handle that organization, if you cannot control that organization, then you cannot produce. So the person's ability is the ability to build that organization that is able to produce all these things. So you cannot compare that one with just one talent. One talent cannot compete with an organization which has 100 people, 10,000 people working there. So you can't say that you can produce car, but Ford is producing car. Ford is a big organization now. Yes, it was started by somebody, but that person was able to build a system, was able to build an institution, a complex infrastructure that is able to produce this number of cars per day, per minute. So the person's ability was, okay, I pick this idea, I pull these people together, I put these things in place, and we organize them, and we manage them, and we control them. And so you cannot compare that with one individual. So our country, if you're going to develop, we must have people who organize our systems and structures, or the organization or the country is not developing. So if you look at our waste, today one AMA boss is saying something, there's no structure, there's no system, there's no organization to control the waste. They just talk. So, oh, the flood, we will handle it. No, it doesn't matter. If there's no structure, there's no organization, it's not going to work. So the talking is different. The ability to build the systems and the structures to get resource is also different. So thank you very much for watching Organize, the Mindset of the Top. So organization, that's how the top people, all the people that are here, all the top guys that are here in any field, they think in organization. They don't think at the individual level. All the top business people that you see, they think in that, and they have those skills. That's why they produce a lot of wealth. If you don't have organization, you can't employ 1,000 people. If you don't have proper structures in place, you can't employ 10,000 people. So if you don't have anything in place, you can employ probably yourself. And that's why when you're going, you close it, and you come back, you open. You say that you don't trust people. The problem is not trust. The problem is that you don't have the ability to build any system, any structure that can work in your absence. That's why they tell people, no, be careful. People, it's yes, we have problem. Yes, people will be honest, people will be dishonest, but if you can build, you can look at the situation and build something that will make the people a little bit better and get the results that you are looking for. So your success is more in your ability to build structure and organize, more than just your talent. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.